2010 was the year of the Tea Party, some say, after its effect on the midterm elections, but there are some suggestions it may not have the same influence on the 2012 presidential race, no matter who wins the Republican nomination. Today, South Carolina's Tea Party, though, kicked off its first statewide convention with big-name headliners like Senator Jim DeMint. And Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina, will be there tomorrow. Now, some political watchers say the Tea Party as a whole may be focusing its efforts on helping Republicans gain control of the U.S. Senate. Right now, Republicans are just a few seats shy of a majority, and Tea Partiers are hoping they can get their candidates into office to keep the president in check, whomever that may be, after November's election. Roll Call staff writer David Drucker joins us live. And David, good to see you. You know, in the House last year, all of the new conservatives and the Tea Party congressmen, this group of 87, wielded, I think it's safe to say, some pretty considerable influence. So if Republicans were to win the U.S. Senate, with the help of the Tea Party, might conservative senators have an outsized impact on that chamber?
Well, they might. I think it depends who wins in 2012. First of all, do Republicans take control of the chamber? And second of all, what kind of Republican wins those seats that allows them to take the majority? You know, as we found from the 2010 elections, a lot of Tea Party Republicans won, but a lot of conventional and even a few moderate Republicans won, because that's what it took to win in certain seats, in certain districts. So I think that the Tea Party has a good chance to wield influence in 12 and to have influence in the next Congress, which will begin in January of 2013. But at this point, it remains unclear exactly how this is going to play out.
All right, lots of scenarios are being proposed, and here's what one Tea Party official predicts, and I'll put it up on the screen. This is Russ Walker of FreedomWorks. Conservatives could win enough to double the size of the Senate's conservative contingent if that happens. And Romney wins. He could go down in the history books as America's most conservative president, not because he wants to, but because he will have to listen to the Senate. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that's certainly possible. I think that it's unclear right now how Romney would govern as president, but clearly if he was dealing with a Republican House and a Republican Senate, and if the Tea Party influence that is there now, the conservative influence of old guard and newly elected conservatives remains, then they're going to have a lot to say in terms of what kind of bills he signs and what kind of bills he gets. And if Republicans in Congress feel that they have some sort of mandate to govern, you know, in a particular conservative way, then they're going to feel emboldened to do that and send these kind of bills to the president. Now, if Republicans don't win control of the Senate but maintain control in the House, we'd probably see a lot of what we see today, where the two sides battle it out, and half the time the president doesn't get any bill.
Yeah, but Democrats are defending far more seats up for election than are Republicans, so it would appear as though, at least numerically, Republicans do have an advantage. But look, conservatives, David, are not just targeting Democrats. They're targeting Republicans that are deemed to be too moderates. Orrin Hatch of Utah, Richard Lugar of Indiana facing primary challenges. Isn't there a huge risk to that? And I'll give you a couple of cases in point. Delaware and Nevada in 2010 had Republicans not fielded Tea Party nominees, Christine O'Donnell, Sharon Engel, there they are. They likely would have won because establishment GOP candidates, it's deemed by the experts, were more electable there. So there's a big risk here, isn't there?
Well, there is, but I would put it more like this. The problem is when the Tea Party chooses candidates that are lousy politicians and can't appeal to voters. Marco Rubio was a Tea Party candidate, and he had a large, wide appeal and is a very smart politician. The same can be said for a few others elected in 2010 on the Republican side. When you elect politicians in a primary like they did in Nevada, like they did in Delaware, as you said, and also, by the way, like they did in Colorado, where the candidate there should have won and turned out to be a lousy candidate who made a lot of unforced errors, that's when they cost themselves. So what the Tea Party should really do is look for the candidate that best reflects their views, that is also a smart, tactical politician, and they're going to have then more of a chance to win primaries and win general elections and then wield influence in governing.
David Drucker, as always, great to see you. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. Good to be here.
Heather?